Okay.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our March meeting for the Virginia Caregiver Coalition. So glad that you guys could all join us today. This morning, we are going to continue. If you were at our last meeting, you might remember we did breakout room welcomes just for 5 minutes, just so people had more of a chance to actually really get to know each other more in the virtual environment. So once you're in your breakout room, just introduce yourself, what organization or caregiver status you're representing, and then maybe just add a little tidbit about maybe how long you've been with the VCC or how you ended up getting involved with the VCC. So Nick, if you want to go ahead and put us all into those breakout rooms, we'll give 5 minutes for this, and then we'll come back and do some announcements.
All right. Let me do this. 4 rooms, 4 people each.
Perfect.
I'll pull everyone back at 9:41.
Perfect.
Is it working? There we go. Ah. There we go. I'm still getting the hang of that one. You do well. Hold B to broadcast your voice. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Where'd everyone go? Um, well, what room am I in? Morning, Cam. Good morning, Trina. Make another room. Morning.
Morning, everybody.
How are you doing?
All right, Nick, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. We're in our breakout room welcome for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I think it's working for other people. I guess we're in the unassigned room.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right.
Uh,
Oh, nope. Someone's inviting me to join a room, so I guess I'm gonna join a room.
oh yes, it wants you to join room 2.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'll
Have
see in a little
fun.
bit, I guess. Yes.
Looks like Kimberly left.
Yeah, so it's automatically assigning people
Uh-huh.
um to I said 4 rooms.
Uh,
So as they drop in, they come into unassigned where I am, and then the system will
Now I
assign them
see.
out. I'm still pretty new to this.
I have no idea, but I think you're doing great.
So like I would assume that like Trina either stepped away or just on a
Yeah.
call or something, or she's like, I don't want to do this, which I
Yeah.
get that too.
Mhm.
So it's nice. Oh, there she goes.
Yeah.
Um, and also I don't want to do it, so I get to be in the waiting room
You're
essentially.
amazing with this. Amazing. So I did see where it was I did watch part of the YouTube of the last one, so I'm ready
Oh,
to understand. Thank you.
nice.
Yeah. Oh, I'm learning. I'm trying.
Yeah.
So, like you said, don't worry about it. Go out there and look at it. So I saw your part of a meeting from
My
that
thing
was on
is,
YouTube
you know what I wonder is if it's recording us.
right now.
Yeah.
Does it record them?
I don't know. I might have to splice it out now that I think about it.
Anyways, I just heard from Jasmine. I'm gonna let them know we will be assessing.
Okay. Because when I decide to close all the breakout rooms, um, I can broadcast my voice when I shut down, gives them a minute, which is pretty cool. This is a new one for me. Because last time was the first time I had been in breakout rooms, but I haven't actually done it on my end. So
Yes.
yeah, I hope everyone goes.
Keep them knowing I checked too.
I know.
But what can you do? It's just one little thing. Marianne, I wanted to name my daughter Marianne.
Nice.
That's a backlash over it.
One minute. Oh. 1 minute, everybody.
That's
Hey,
a nice little addition, leadership. That was fun. Thanks.
Yeah, I agree. And Nick, just a heads up, Paul Martin, who was in our breakout group, is having some technical difficulties, so he's trying to sign back in. He just asked me to let you know.
Okay. I saw him come back into the waiting room. I figured that was probably part of what was going on.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone should be back. That's fun. I'm getting much better at this.
Awesome. So I hope you guys had some good conversations. I know we did in my breakout room. So before we go into our presenters, I just want to have a few quick announcements. The first one is that Juliana, who is our vice chair, would like to just remind everybody to please fill out our survey at the end of today's meeting, and we'll be putting that survey in the chat. We're going to be using this as for feedback so we can improve our educational series and use it to really guide the direction of the VCC in the upcoming years. So we really want to hear from you all about what you want to get out of this group, because it really is, a group meant for you all. So please just make sure to fill out that survey so your voice can be heard and you can have an opinion on kind of what's going on with the VCC to help better inform your executive committee on the direction of the organization. The next announcement, or does anybody have any questions about the survey or what we're doing with that? Okay. Christy Jensen sends her regrets that she couldn't join us today, but just asked us to remind you that the Southern Gerontological Society meeting is taking place next month in Norfolk. And there is actually still time to register and attend. So if you want more information about that, I assume Nick will be sending out some information in our follow-up email with more information on how to register. And then some very exciting news. Nick is very excited to be welcoming Kim Vivaldi to the VCC and to DARS. Kim is an RN with her MSN and is joining us as the new Lifespan Voucher Program Grant Coordinator. And we are so excited to have her. You can see her in Nick's little box on the screen. But we are very happy that that position is filled and that Nick now has the much needed help that he has and with that program. So welcome, Kim. And at this time, are there any other announcements that anybody else? Oh, Nick, go ahead.
So George sends his regrets as well.
Okay.
He has something else going on, but he wanted to remind everyone that the registration for the 2023 Virginia Dementia Capable Summit on May 10th via the Virginia's Governor Conference is open, and he sent me the link for that, and I'll put that in the chat and in the minutes as well.
Okay.
Could I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
So I registered for the full conference, and one email sort of indicates that that includes the Dementia Capable Conference, and the second one sort of makes it seem like I need to register for that separately. Can you clarify that for me?
I think you will have to register separately
Okay.
for the summit.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions about that? Okay. So are there any other announcements that anybody else would like to share with the group before we get into some of our old business? Any new business from anybody? Maybe just raise your hand.
I would also add for anyone near Rockingham County, Augusta County, Weir's Cave area, May 17th, we are having a dementia conference for caregivers with a representative from TIPA Snow coming. And it will be a full day event talking about positive approach care, dealing with some difficult behaviors. And the third session will be about how personality impacts how dementia manifests itself. And so registration is on the VPAS website. And of course, it's primarily for people in the VPAS service area, but not exclusively. So if anyone wants to know more about it, they can check with me.
Awesome. And if you want to just send that information to Nick, then he can make sure to include it in our follow-up email to everybody. Anybody else? Any other announcements or new business?
I will actually, we are starting our health and wellness series on the 24th of this month. Our first series is session is going to be Come to a Memory Cafe. We'll have Carol Blackwell, who will lead us into different activities and kind of provide different ideas that families can use at home to engage with their loved ones. And then after that, we'll have a session on pulmonary rehab. So if you know anybody who suffers from shortness of breath or COPD, this will be a really great workshop. Then we'll have another one on meditation and self-compassion. And then our last one will be on caring for the heart. So we'll have a doctor who will talk about how to prevent heart disease based on diet. And then we also have a caregiver webinar next month on top 10 legal facts that family caregivers should know, but probably don't. So you're all welcome to join. I was just mentioning in the breakout room that all of our events, virtual events, are free to anybody who is interested, regardless of where they come from. So there is that. Thank you.
Thanks, Juliana. All right, anybody else? Awesome. Okay. Well, if you guys think of anything, just feel free to send it over to Nick, and he can be sure to include it in the follow-up email if you think of anything later on. And definitely be sure to check out all of those announcements in the follow-up email that Nick sends, just so you can stay up to date on what's going on and get more information. Okay, so now we're just going to be moving into some of our old business. So unfortunately, our executive committee wasn't able to meet last month. So we have not moved forward with getting all of those subcommittees formally established that we had discussed at the January meeting. But we did get some really positive feedback and excellent interest from our members on joining. And we'll be continuing that conversation when we meet next month as an executive committee. So just be on the lookout for any communication regarding those committees. And if you are still interested in joining, please make sure you reach out to Nick and let him know which committee you'd be most interested in joining. And I'm sure, again, in that follow-up email, Nick can attach those committee descriptions again in case anybody wants to get some more information about, or a reminder maybe about what those committees are going to be looking like. So any questions about committees or the process for that? Hopefully we will, by our next meeting, have some more concrete information about getting those assigned for everybody. Okay. Well, now I'm going to turn it over to our lovely Donna to introduce our speakers for this morning. We have some really great presenters here in store for you. So Donna, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so thank you all for attending this the Virginia Caregiver Coalition today. Today we are going to be hearing from Bronwyn Stokes and Sarah Stowe. They are both with the No Wrong Door Virginia program. No Wrong Door Virginia is a program that you all as caregivers, you all as professionals, and the people that you love and care give for should be able to access to help them find resources that you need to improve your life and help you maintain independence. Sarah, I'm not sure, or Bronwyn, I'm not sure which one of you is going to take the lead first, but it's all yours.
That will be me. Thank you, Donna.
Okay.
We appreciate it. Thank you all very much. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen to go ahead and get the technical kinks out of the way. So we appreciate it. Give me one quick second. All right. Right.
There we go.
Okay. Awesome. Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to join you on this Thursday morning with the Virginia Caregivers Coalition to talk about No Wrong Door Virginia and some of our cool public resources that we have that may be able to support you in your work in this space and advocating for caregivers and individuals across Virginia. We appreciate you having us. So since we all know that Virginia is for lovers, as a tourism slogan would indicate, as your presenters, we would like to start by introducing ourselves, sharing something that we each love. So as I already stated, I am Bronwyn Stokes. I'm the governance specialist here for No Wrong Door Virginia here at DARS. And I love my two dogs, Chox on the left there and Minnie on the right. Minnie's namesake is Minnie Mouse because of my love for Disney. Chox, well, I think you can kind of understand why a chocolate lab would be named Chox. My fiance and I adore these two pups. I'm joined today by my colleague, Sarah Stowe, No Wrong Doors expansion coordinator. And Sarah loves her son, her pride and joy, Cooper. Sarah, if you'd like to say anything about that handsome little bean, you may.
I think it's clear to see why I love him.
I agree. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and lean right in as to what we're going to be talking about today. We're first going to frame what is No Wrong Door. Some of you may know what it is, some of you may not. And then we're going to share a story of an individual accessing services through our person-centered portal and consumer-facing network, Virginia Easy Access. And then Sarah will dig more into our partnerships and some of our assistive technology kits that we have available, as well as any other resources that we may have that could benefit to this group and audience. And then we'll finally wrap up, leaving some time for any of your questions that you may have. So what is a no wrong door system? So we'll start by framing No Wrong Door. No Wrong Door is a federal initiative under the Administration for Community Living in partnership with two other federal agencies, CMS and the Veterans Health Administration. The overall premise for No Wrong Door is to improve access to long-term services and supports across all populations and payers, and coordinating within a state to improve individual choice. These three federal agencies work to embed the network of a No Wrong Door system, which exists at different capacities into all 56 states and territories. In Virginia, we follow national guidance for thinking about ways in which our existing statewide network of partners, area agencies on aging, centers for independent living, and an array of home and community-based services providers like adult day health care, in-home services, transportation, can holistically support that individual. In Virginia, we adhere to ACL's vision and framework for No Wrong Door being a one-stop, coordinated and person-centered system and initiative. No Wrong Door is led locally and regionally by 25 area agencies on aging. Each AAA is the local lead and serves as the first point of contact with local No Wrong Door partner agencies. These partner agencies may include local agencies that the AAA has contracted relationships with, such as particular home care agencies, transportation service agencies, as well as other non-AAA affiliated agencies within the community who are interested in partnering with No Wrong Door in order to help streamline access to long-term services and supports for individuals within their specific area. Through the AAA's networks of partners that are all connected through a technology system for case management and for conducting information and referrals, what we call this in Virginia, CREA, and that acronym stands for Communication, Referral, Information, and Assistance. This is a part of a core philosophy for better delivering services to individuals. No Wrong Door is not just a statewide initiative, but it is also a local initiative. As a state agency here at DARS, we offer ongoing training, financial investments, tech enhancements that include a multitude of resources and tools to better serve Virginians in accessing home and community-based services. So as stewards of public dollars and public servants, we leverage our work as a state agency that provides oversight, financial, contractual, and monitoring to a network of many different services, different and direct service providers that include area agencies on aging, AAAs, centers for independent living, or CILS, brain injury service providers, local departments of social services, specifically adult services, adult protective services, vocational rehabilitation services, and what you'll hear more about today, Virginia Assistive Technology. So in leveraging our existing network, No Wrong Door works to support individuals to make informed decisions, to exercise control over their long-term care needs, and to achieve their personal goals and preferences. No Wrong Door is about an individual's story being told and captured to help support access to services with organizations statewide that can assist them and us in their local community. It's about sharing your information with consent with a network of trusted partner providers that have the same philosophy of work and want to offer supports. There's direct access to over 27,000 community resources through two trusted vetted resource databases, one of which is managed by 211 Virginia and Virginia Navigator, with accurate, up-to-date information. Options provided by over 600 trained professionals, in-person centered practices, and use of this technology for security and confidentiality of the individual, as well as, drum roll please, 24/7 toll-free line available in more than 200 languages, as well as a live chat feature on our site, so you're not talking to a robot, all operated by a trained 211 specialist. No Wrong Door is about a holistic approach to individuals, connecting them through long-term services and supports. So I've done a lot of talking in a short period of time. So we want to hear from you. So if you could scan this QR code, or you can, I don't know if we can copy this link, or we can put it in the chat probably. I believe I can do that. Whoopsie. Go back.
I can do it for you.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to switch over and stop sharing my screen to start sharing my screen with, let's see. I can. I hope so. Oh, boo. Oh, why let me do it? Oh, there it is. Okay. We shall go here. Can you see this?
So Bronwyn, when I went to that QR code, it comes up with what are some of the gaps that you see within information and access when it comes to caregiver resources? Is that
correct?
The right place? Okay.
It sure is.
Okay.
So if you answer that question for us.
Okay, I didn't know what the poll code was, so.
Yeah, so there's a code up at the top, but it should just take you directly to it if you're not required to put a code in. Some people, it gives you that error and you have to put a code in. Some people it doesn't if you just scan the QR code. You should be good. So you should see this question here. What are some of the gaps that you see within information and access when it comes to caregiver resources? And these are some of the answers that you all put in so far. Difficulty navigating the system, social connection for older adults, lack of understanding, lack of information, social connection, no internet, technology gaps. Looks like that's a common thread. Information, limited resources. Okay. Pull this over here so I can see everybody. All right. Does anybody feel comfortable expanding more on what they put here in the chat at all? Don't feel pressured if you don't want to. That's the purpose of this, but it's good conversation.
I mean, I can expand. I have no problem.
Sure. Go for it, Nick.
So mine was about the Medicaid waiver information and stuff like that. I find that in my position, I get a lot of calls from individuals who were told incomplete information by either other agencies or other. I mean, I don't know. I've been trying to suss out how I receive some of my phone calls. My number one call is people want to think that the Virginia Lifespan Respite Voucher Program will pay them to care for their loved one. Like the Medicaid waiver, which is the only one I'm really knowledgeable enough on that would do that. And even then there's a lot of restrictions associated with that.
Are you talking about the CCC Plus waiver?
Yeah, like the, HCBS type waivers.
Oh, okay. You're talking about those. Okay.
Yeah. Which a lot of it's through CCC Plus, depending on what's going on.
Right.
And again, I don't know enough information about it, but I've had, I get a lot of phone calls about that. And also just, it's like, I know that, I don't have all the information, so I refer them to other people, but I get a lot of phone calls from people who are frustrated because they're trying to find answers and they're just getting sent to other places over and over again. And it becomes like this feedback loop of no one can give me an answer. So I've just noticed a lot of that going on recently.
Okay. All right.
And it comes down to, the information so decentralized, in a lot of, people who are working, trying to assist caregivers and, things like that. We only have little pieces. So it really becomes like this game almost.
Yeah, people don't know where to go.
Yeah, they don't know where to go. People don't call them back. They can't find the information on the internet. They can't, sometimes you don't know the right words. You call DSS and say, I'm a caregiver, I want to be paid. And then they say, well, call DARS when they need to be talking to Medicaid because they didn't say, waiver,
Right.
So
Yeah, it's a lot of information, a lot of it coming at you different ways, and a lot of jargon. When people don't necessarily listen to the whole story or picture. So it can be frustrating when there's not a lot of overlap. So thank you for expanding on that a bit more. We're going to go to our next question. How do you currently
has a hand raised?
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Yep.
No, I was just going to add to what Nick said. We get a lot of calls where we tell them to call human services, social services. And a lot of times they call back and they're frustrated because no one is there, no one responds to them. And so it's like, as Nick said, it's like an ongoing cycle where they're not getting the answers that they need.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah, I would echo that as well. A lot of folks don't understand the processes for applying for the assistance that they feel like the person that they're caregiving for needs. And they're just boggled by, like, how do I make this work? How do I get this person that I love what they need?
Oh, sure. It's definitely overwhelming. Okay. Thank you all for sharing. We've got our second question here. Does everybody see this one? How do you currently find or access trusted resources? That big G word there in the middle. Luck. Okay. A few more coming in. Google's staying pretty large. All right. Okay. So we got community partners, state websites, word of mouth, asking a colleague, Senior Navigator, Google. Google's pretty big. All right. Thank you for sharing. So I think the next thing that we want to talk about, and I'm going to switch back over to our main presentation, get back to where we were going. Is to talk about one of those ways to access resources and to get that information, right? Some of you may know about it, some of you may not. So I'm going to turn things over to Sarah to talk more about our consumer-facing and individual support site, Virginia Easy Access.
Thank you so much, Bronwyn. So as soon as I was hearing Nick talk about all of the things, those challenges that we experience in trying to find information and people getting bounced from one place to another, or not really sure who to even start with, my mind immediately went to, that's really what we're all about. So No Wrong Door as an initiative is really all about helping you find resources the first place you go, and providing that information regardless of where you start. And so some of the resources that we're going to share with you today are more of our self-directed resources. And so I'll start off with Virginia Easy Access, which is our person-centered portal or website. And so we are currently working on a redesign of the front page. And so this is what it will look like once it is completed. And it is an award-winning site. We have worked really hard on the accessibility of the site to ensure that it makes for a great user experience and makes for a great way to locate resources that you're really in need of. So a couple of things that I want to point out that kind of help to make that experience really positive is the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the 2-on-1 live chat. So Bronwyn mentioned a little bit about that already, that it is an opportunity to reach out to a live person at any point in your journey through our site, that you have that opportunity to talk with a live person. There's also a toll-free phone number available in more than 200 languages. So any point throughout that journey, you have the opportunity to talk with a real person, to kind of walk through what it is that you're finding or maybe not finding, and having someone kind of guide you through that. You'll also see on the left-hand side, we have the service finder tool. We have a number of tools that are powered by Virginia Navigator on our site, another one of our really important statewide resource databases. So really the goal of No Wrong Door is to not only have access to resources, but having access to trusted resources in your community. So we're really thankful for those partnerships that we have. Next slide, please. All right, so we like to tell the story of easy access through personas, and really talk about how someone's journey to find services can be utilized through the suite of tools that No Wrong Door has. So I'd like to start off by having you all meet Maria. You'll see on our screen. And so Maria lives in Culpeper, Virginia. She is a 75-year-old woman. And she is looking for some things. So I'll give you a little more about her story on the next slide. All right, so Maria, a few things to know about her is that she enjoys spending time with her grandson. She enjoys knitting, and she loves animals, but her apartment complex does not allow her to have animals. So she does a lot of bird watching. She has recently moved into this new apartment in a new neighborhood, so is really trying to figure out how to get acclimated to it, how to find resources in her new neighborhood. So let's see how we can help her out. Next slide, please. All right, so we want to look at Maria's whole self. Who is she? What things does she like? How can we help? So at the center, of course, is Maria. And we know a few things, that she is really looking for some additional social connection, maybe some in-home assistance, as she recently had a bad fall and is recovering from surgery. She's feeling a little bit isolated. Changes such as that to your life can create a little additional isolation that you may not have had. And her daughter is also a little worried about her. So she wants to help her out in finding some of these resources. So her daughter's name is Sandy. And Sandy feels like her mom could use some additional supports to thrive, such as a potential assistive technology device, maybe some companionship, maybe some help around the home even, just to give them both a little bit of peace of mind. Next slide, please. So that journey starts with Virginia Easy Access. So Sandy and Maria both pull up Virginia Easy Access and start doing some exploring. So they notice that they can live chat throughout that process. And so Sandy actually decides to initiate a chat with a 211 specialist just to get a little additional help and to kind of narrow down what services she's looking for. So on the next slide, thank you, you can see the live chat and kind of what that looks like. So again, this is a real person, a trained 211 specialist. They are familiar with No Wrong Door. They're familiar with the services that are offered throughout the state. And it's a really person-centered approach. So Sandy tells that 211 operator about her mother's circumstances, including the fall that she has suffered, and her mom could probably use an in-home companion. So the 211 specialist directs Sandy to Maria's local area agency on aging, which are our No Wrong Door local leads, who is able to provide her with a list of in-home personal care programs via a text message. And throughout that time, Sandy's time on Virginia Easy Access, she can also use that toll-free number as well that you all see down there. And we have on the next slide. So throughout their time, they have the ability to use both of those. We kind of already talked about that it's available in over 200 languages. So the next slide. So after chatting with the 211 specialist, Sandy also utilizes the Service Finder tool, which again is powered by Virginia Navigator, and provides a really comprehensive list of services that are available in her area. So this could help. She decides to do some searching for assistive technology that could potentially help her mom with a number of things, whether it is fall prevention. It could also be social connection. As you'll see down the listing that shows up is Virginia Assistive Technology System, Social Connection Assistive Technology Consultation. So Virginia Assistive Technology has a wonderful program where they have a trained occupational therapist who will walk you through what your options are as far as assistive technology and can provide a loan of an item. Some of the items can be fairly expensive, and so it gives you an opportunity to try before you buy and see if that's going to be the correct fit. And they also do a ton of research to try and find the most cost-effective items and to really test out if those items are going to work for a larger population. Next slide, please. So Sandy already received a list of personal care agencies from the 211 specialist, but now that she understands that wealth of supports offered via an agency on aging, she digs a little deeper into what's available in her mom's community. And so she finds that there are a few really important resources. So chronic disease self-management being one of them. She sees that the AAA is offering those programs. And she can actually use a self-directed referral through No Wrong Door's Direct Connect feature to actually directly refer herself to the area agency on aging for that program. And so we also have that opportunity that if you want to bookmark anything throughout your time on Easy Access, you can create a profile on here and you'll be able to bookmark those resources. We also have educational articles. Many things on here can be bookmarked. So it really allows you to kind of go through and do some research and then allow yourself some time to let that sink in and absorb, as it's usually a pretty overwhelming time when you're looking for resources. So to summarize, you can see exactly what things Maria has at her fingertips. So through her journey on easy access and with 211, she was actually able to receive quite a few resources. So she referred herself directly to the chronic disease self-management program, which includes the pain management workshop with the AAA. She also did a social connection consultation and found that an assistive device, such as these walker squawkers, as you can see on the screen, the little birds, we have a cardinal and a bluebird, that those are provided through, as for a loan, through Virginia Assistive Technology System. And so they are a really cool tool that they have. They attach directly to your walker, and you can actually unlock, I believe it's 7 songs from this songbird to encourage you to use your walker. It can be a great reminder too, if you have someone who isn't very good about using their walker, even if they're just, walking across the room. So it can be a great reminder as well. They also have other robotic pets, a cat and a dog, which are great options. Very fun. We have them in our office, and it's always fun to pull those out if you need them. Maria also got access to personal care services in her home. And we also have a new feature coming to our site. It is our social connection tool that will be providing an opportunity for a personalized plan for social connection, which will include helpful articles. So we're very excited for that to come to fruition, but it is still in the works at this time. So I want to tell you all a little bit more about assistive technology and Virginia Assistive Technology System. So we started a partnership with them through the COVID-19 pandemic of really focusing on how we can provide assistive technology and make it more available to individuals. So most of our partnership is really focused around assistive technology kits. So we have a number of assistive technology kits that have been created to address certain needs. So we have a social health kit, which includes a lot of great ways for people to connect virtually and otherwise. We also do assistive technology consultations where you can work directly with an assistive technology specialist. We work primarily with Paula Martin, who is an occupational therapist and is the one who's created many of these kits. And so it's a great opportunity to walk through with your loved ones and figure out exactly what it is that you're looking for, or what might be a good fit for individuals. So we also have an emergency preparedness kit, which includes a lot of really cool safety things, but it also provides some additional things beyond just kind of your typical disaster preparedness, really focusing on making sure that you maybe have a cane that is able to kind of fold away, that you would be able to easily take with you. Might not be something that you use all the time, but good to have if the terrain might be changing depending on what the emergency is. We also have a training kit. Many of our kits, we've done videos to kind of go with them. And so the training kit kind of walks you through some of those things. And we have some additional videos on our training platform as well. And our newest kits are our sensory kit, as well as our fall prevention kit. And so many of our area agencies on aging actually had these kits or have access to these kits. And so they can be a great opportunity for individuals to kind of try out some of these items or even just see what options are out there. So it's a great partnership that we look forward to continuing and creating more kits to address more needs. Next slide, please. So there's a few ways that you can use easy access. So we've kind of talked about these, we've gone through, that you can kind of walk through it with a trained resource specialist through 211 via the live chat, or through a toll-free phone number, or you can just look through it yourself and kind of collect some things in your as you go through. So it will provide you an opportunity to go back and see those. And again, you would create a profile on Virginia Easy Access, and it will put a little bookmark icon next to some of the items or the links and services that are offered. And you would click those, and then you'll have an opportunity when you click on your profile for all of those to show up as a bookmarked item. Next slide, please. So of course, I mentioned that our No Wrong Door local leads are our area agencies on aging. So we have a network map that kind of shares, you know, who your area agency on aging is. And so we're also working on what we call our community illustrator page that will be coming live soon on our website, which will kind of showcase some of those resources a little bit more clearly on our website than the way that they are now. So we're very excited to be able to do that since the area agencies on aging are really at the core of this work. So we're excited for that. So at this time, I think we'll take some questions.
I've got some.
All right, Nick, let's go.
Okay, so Paul asked in the chat earlier if there is a per call evaluation of satisfaction for 211.
So there is an evaluation at the end to ask if you were satisfied, if you received the resources that you were looking for. So really kind of a closed loop referral to make sure that you received what you were looking for.
Okay. Do you know the top 5 spoken languages in Virginia on 211?
I know the top one is Spanish. I do not know about the others because I think they actually do have, many of those are through a language line, but I know that they specifically have a few Spanish speaking 211 operators specifically to be able to connect people.
Okay. I was just curious as to what the
I can find that out though. And I can share that with the group.
Yeah, I'd love that. Just for my own program.
Absolutely.
Okay, last question for me. Who keeps the information current on the site? Is that No Wrong Door or is that Virginia Navigator or someone else?
That is Virginia Navigator, as well as 211 for their respective databases. As far as the articles and the educational content, that is managed by No Wrong Door. But as far as the tools on the website, those are managed by the respective resource databases.
Excellent, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, Dee.
Yes, my question is, would you advise someone to go to which website first, Virginia Navigator or which one would be their first to go to?
So I think it kind of depends on the situation a little bit. So I think if someone is kind of in the researching phase and looking for, not really sure what they're looking for, it might be a good place to start on easy access to figure out, maybe look at some articles, kind of see what's out there a little bit, and then use the service finder to help you kind of narrow that down a little bit. And I think, you know, also using the 211 operator, I think it's really personal preference too. I'm probably more of an introvert. And so I would probably rather do some research myself to kind of figure out what it is that I'm looking for first, rather than kind of starting from scratch. But some people might want to start from scratch too and say, here are my problems. I need help getting through, walking through this. So I think it's kind of personal preference. Bronwyn, if you have any other thoughts.
No, yeah, I really think it just depends, like Sarah said, about what you are wanting more information about as well.
So Paul Martin has some questions in chat, and Paul, I'm going to ask you actually to unmute yourself because I have a question about one of your questions. But the first question is, he wants to know is, what's the most asked question you guys get? Or maybe the most asked for resource, or do you know that?
My mind is immediately going to home delivered meals. I know that that's been what we get probably the most data from. And that's actually how we have determined that we are going to be setting up those AAA profiles, is based on those most requested items. And so I think I want to say that home delivered meals was number one.
Okay,
and transportation was also another big one.
Transportation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and then another thing about, to kind of not follow Sarah's answer, to give you another answer, Paul, I think that might help. What is no wrong door? I think that's a big question that we get, is to make sure that there's understanding of that we are not a direct service provider. Our local AAAs and our local leads are the boots on the ground and what drives the community services and supports. And I think that's a huge concrete and foundational nugget that is needed in order to understand the initiative and the practice and the policies and the why behind everything, in order to grasp the, okay, this tool is here for it, and then I need to talk to this person for this. Then this tool is here and I need to talk to this person for this. Once you grasp what we are and then how the rest of it works, I think it's a lot easier to digest.
Okay, I think that's a really good point. And thank you very much for that answer. Paul, I see that you are unmuted now. You asked the question, is there follow-up or outreach for the individual callers? Or I'm just not sure what you wanted to know exactly.
I'm thinking no wrong door at one point in the interchange goes, we're done. And the initial caller goes with his phone, contacts this referral, but doesn't get a complete answer. So I guess what I'm saying is that the loop of help breaks down.
Closed loop, yeah.
At that point, the tendency from my perspective is, I'm done with this. The referral didn't work. I got everything I could from no wrong door. I guess I just have to ask a friend. So that's what happens to me. And part of it, as Nick can understand, I don't understand. So I don't have good, what's the term? Either I'm not a good listener or I'm not, whatever. I don't know how to explain that. And, I'm probably at fault, I guess.
No, I think that's a frustration that whatever information that you're receiving, if there's an initial attempt of outreach to get the resources and information from, whether it's 211, live chat, toll-free line, however you're reaching out to get it from No Wrong Door, to say, hey, I need help. This is what I need help with. And then if a referral or a resource is given to you and you then reach out to that and you're not getting either an answer or something, am I following you? Am I following you, Paul?
Yeah, I think so. It's, to me, my own personal problem is I'm really persistent, but I'm only persistent as long as I'm successful. Once once I am not successful, my persistence falls off
Sure.
pretty quickly.
Yeah, Paul, I'm gonna back you up on that because when I was a frustrated, overwhelmed caregiver and when I help caregivers, that's what I'm consistently getting. My question was going to be, if they call 211 and get referrals and then get nowhere with those, do they call 211 again? You know, how do they get handheld through really getting the help that's out there that they're trying to get, and even sometimes know where to call and are getting no response or not getting enough help for the caregiver to understand really how to go about getting the services?
Yeah, I wrote an article once about this very issue, and I described it as having someone put a hand on your shoulder and kind of helping you along. And that is what I've really identified as what I need. I need reminders. I need, I need help with my own persistence, and I need really, it all comes back to a care plan. It all comes back to a care plan over and over and over again. I need something written down with all the resources printed on it, and says, I got to do this on Monday. I got to do this in March. I have to do that in whenever. I every day puts a barrier between my understanding and what I have to do.
Mm-hmm. So there's a couple of things that are coming to mind. One is options counseling, and that is really the opportunity to walk through with someone and figure out, all right, what are each of these needs? And it's really a strength-based process. So it's walking through what things can you do versus what things can your options counselor kind of assist you with. And so it gives you an opportunity to look at your situation holistically and figure out what services and supports are available. And then from there, I mean, I think the other thing is we really encourage all of our network of partners to make those referrals. So not just giving an individual a sheet of paper and saying, or resources and saying, contact these people, because I think you also run into, you can get burnt out very easily with contacting places and again, not knowing really how to navigate it. So we try to put that back into our network of partners, into their hands to help make that referral. So it's one less communication. Then at that point, it is the organization's responsibility to contact you. So it kind of eases that process a little bit. But I think going through options counseling and having that opportunity to see what are all of those things that are available, and kind of coming up, like you said, coming up with a care plan, coming up with a game plan of what is the next step.
Yeah, well, one of my things to make it a real-time issue, my care partner is now entering hospice, and I asked them specifically for a hospice care plan, and their answer was, that's exactly what we do. When you see your hospice nurse, something will be put out on paper and whatever. My problem becomes, people are asking me to come in and provide help on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and I have yet to see my hospice nurse. My hospice nurse was on leave, and a replacement called me and said, do you need us today? And my answer was, no, I guess, they explained that my hospice nurse would be back, she'll be back on Monday. And that's the kind of thing I'm dealing with. And it just really gets to be a frustration. It would be nice if every service was written down and every service was backed up, and that's, I guess you're just looking for I'm looking for the ideal, and I don't accept the reality of what I go through sometimes.
Hey, Sarah, what is option counseling and how does one get to that?
Yeah. So person-centered options counseling is one of those many services that No Wrong Door kind of oversees. And so all of the area agencies on aging provide options counseling. And again, it's kind of a person-centered process. I can put the link in the chat for it as well. It's a person-centered process that goes through and looks at your strengths and opportunities and kind of helps provide you with a game plan. And also many of our centers for independent living, many of them do options counseling as well. But that's a great question. So I'll throw that in the chat for you, Trina. Oh, and I did see your question about the slides being available. We will make them available for you all as well.
Yeah.
So if someone's wanted to get options counseling, they could call No Wrong Door.
They could call any of the area agencies on aging, and we'll put that network map in the chat as well, so that you can locate the one in your area.
Don't SILs also do options counseling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who was that also did it?
Centers for Independent Living. Now, this is, just a side note. I really like the idea of, in direct connected easy access and things like that, you can build your own profile, right? And have these bookmarks. In the future, it would be really interesting if your site could almost build your own care plan, and it could help guide people through that information step by step.
That would be the goal.
Yeah, I figure it's all moving that way, but it'll probably take a number of years. But I mean, I just think that'd be really interesting that you could access the site yourself. You could start building, what services you're looking for and, what things are going on. And then if you do end up connecting with that options counselor, you already have half a plan built that then they can evaluate with you and then, make changes or, update it as needed. I think that would be excellent. I mean, it really would.
Well, and you made a good point, Nick, because we didn't really, Sarah mentioned it, but we didn't really go into it because of the time allotted, and we wanted to make sure we could have this type of discussion. Direct connect. Paul, I think that's a piece that might be your wheelhouse there, to be able to go on, say, I want this service and I want to take the referral and the middleman out of it. And I want to say, I'm requesting this service and I am requesting a turnaround time of somebody to connect me with this program. And that's exactly what it does. You are giving consent for your information to be sent to that program, and then they have it on their receiving end of that direct connect feature. And then they connect with you to say, okay, let's get you started. So that might be something you want to explore through Virginia Easy Access, poke around, see what comes up that meets your needs or what else is out there, and that those direct connect features of those programs that enroll in that service as a No Wrong Door partner. And that might be able to get you that self-directed case management is another way to kind of look at it, to say, I want this and I'm gonna reach out.
Thank you.
Anything else that anybody wants to ask or discuss? Hearing nothing, I want to say thank you to Sarah and Bronwyn. I think this was really good, and I think it gives people some other options that they can explore that maybe they haven't thought of before. So thank you very much. And Nick or Emily, I'm turning it back over to you.
Yes, thank you. And I hope that you guys all really enjoyed the presentation. I know I did, learned a lot. And if you guys have any questions about No Wrong Door or anything, surrounding this presentation, I'm sure that DARS would be more than happy to answer any follow-up questions you all may have afterwards if you think of anything. So I just want to thank you guys all for coming to the meeting today, and just want to remind you, please take the survey. It is copy and pasted in the chat. Nick has just put that in there. And we really are looking for that feedback on our educational series and just trying to learn more about how we can improve it for you guys. So please, please, please take this survey. And please join us for all of our meetings in 2023. There are hyperlinks for the Zoom registration for all this year's meetings at the bottom of each meeting flyer that goes out. And it's on the meeting schedule that is sent out as well. And you can register for all of our meetings and get them on your calendar in advance, just to make sure you don't miss anything. But I hope you all enjoyed our meeting today, and we will see you all in May.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.